Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Newsflash, asshole! I've been hearing it the entire goddamn time!
Okay, the mics are live. A lot of technical glitches there. Welcome back to the West of Waterford Podcast. My name is Josh. As usual, I have Brittany, and we have two other children to play with us today.
It's a play date.
It's a play date, and we're going to get into this now. So, I'd like to welcome back to the studio, of course, I want to welcome back Johnny. You all know Johnny.
How are we doing?
How are we doing? And first timer, but not his first rodeo, Mr. Josh Seek, who we'll be referring to as Seeky, because they're going to be one Josh, and I'm the king of this castle. So, please welcome Johnny and Seeky.
Is it good afternoon or good morning? We're west of Waterford, but what time is it there? How does this work?
It's whenever you want it to be, baby. It's basically.
Good afternoon.
This is you too.
Oh, right. It's good to have you all, though. It's good to finally have you over. I mean, not that I'm going to be ignoring you two now for anything, but you were a professional broadcaster at one point in your history.
I wouldn't call me professional, but yes.
But
I did work in radio for a little while.
Yeah, what station was that in Phoenix area?
Bunch of them. KZ, KTR, KFYI, Mix.
Mix 106?
No, 96.9. I think it's a different format now, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jesus. And you were like, weren't you on AM? You were...
No. Oh, AM radio?
AM radio.
Oh, yeah. KFYI.
No, you weren't a morning
KTR.
guy.
No, yeah. Sports.
Sports?
I don't know anything about sports, but I worked in sports radio for a while.
Oh, just like Ron Wolfley, then.
I worked with him a little bit, yeah.
Did he call you David?
No, he didn't call me all that much.
Good morning, David. Let's go look at the Arizona sky and watch Kyle Murray kick the ball high.
Love Ron Wolfley. I just love that voice. It's such a cartoon voice. It really is just hilarious. And anyway, but no, it's great to have you over here, man. Johnny, and how's the cut of your jib as of late? How's life?
Not too bad. Just keep on motoring. The weather is nice here now at the moment, and everyone's like in 6 foot of snow in Texas apparently. So
that is a weird one. Who expected that? Texas going under a blanket of snow. You'd be fine in it. You'd be 6 inches. You'd be 6 inches going through it.
I still have my head over the top of the whole mound, But usually, when you have like a snow blowing company, like in Texas, it's a tax front. It's not a case of anything actually being used.
Actually, speaking of that, Ted Cruz went down to Cancun during this whole thing, and there's been this whole thing about it. It's like, oh, he abandoned Texas, and it's like, the man's in Washington most of the time. He's a senator. He's not running Texas. That's kind of what the governorship is up for. And believe me, if 6 foot of snow is coming to my area, I mean, are you not leaving?
Well, no, I kind of took it like he went down there to try and lasso the sun to bring it back. That was my kind of thought.
He seems like that kind of guy.
It's bad optics.
That's such an Irish thing to say, because like every time I would go over to Ireland from like visiting my family, and someone like, oh, it was so lovely. You brought the sun over with you. Like, every time.
That's a very Irish thing to say.
Yeah.
You brought the weather with you, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is that old song? Everywhere you go.
You always bring the weather with you.
Yeah.
Crowded House, was it?
Was it an Irish band?
No, I think they were Australian, actually, but they had Irish. Geez. I think they had Irish descent, actually.
Irish convicts in the family somewhere.
So it has
Don't
Texas.
Dream It's Over was the other big hit they had. They were a good group. Crowded House, they were good.
Sure, what was that band who did the inauguration as well? We haven't heard from. It was like they like retooled themselves, or not retooled. They rebanded, I guess. Reformed. Thank you. Excuse me. To do the inauguration, but they had that.
New Radicals.
New Radicals.
Yeah.
They had like one hit.
I love that band.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you?
Well, I did back in like '98. Yeah.
No, they're the senior Radicals. They're not the new anymore.
Oh.
Yes.
The senior Radicals. I remember. But there was only one song I ever knew from them, and that was that famous "Baby, I'm ready to go." That was the only song.
No, it's "Get What You Give."
Get What You Give was from them.
Am I thinking of a different band?
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of?
No. I think you had it right. You just had the
Yeah.
lyrics wrong.
Baby, I'm ready to go. No? Not
Oh
it?
no, that's a different one.
I thought it was them. Ah, whatever.
That's like from the 70s or something.
No, it's not.
That's
I don't think so.
garbage, is it?
No, well, I mean, it is garbage now.
I think it's
Listen
a
to it.
band. I'm trying to think.
Trash, true trash rock. But
So yeah, Texas. No, but there has been some criticism around because they do have an independent electrical grid, right? They're on their own independent grid.
yeah, I think that's
And
the
so
thing.
now there's like saying like, why do they have an independent grid in the first place? And
'Cause it's Texas.
and how it failed. So I don't know if you guys know anything about that.
More windmills.
I just caught a few headlines that were.
I think the
kinda
whole thing
pointing
is
that out.
less windmills because they're frozen.
Well, you can make them so they don't freeze.
Yeah, I mean, but then
all
again,
all the stuff inside of Antarctica is ran by wind power.
But yeah,
they
but
make
it-
it so it doesn't freeze. They do it in Canada. They do it in Sweden.
but you
The
expect
thing
that
is-
in Canada, Sweden, and Antarctica. You don't expect that in Texas.
Well,
You
that's
don't
probably
expect storms.
cost-wise.
Yeah.
They're probably doing
Freak
it that way. They're
weather.
thinking, why are we going to have
Yeah.
to pay that extra bit to build something with these
Exactly.
in Texas?
It's the same
like,
as California with the power lines starting the fires. They didn't do all this maintenance, and then
I heard it was Jewish lasers from space that started those fires. I didn't know it was
lasers
power
from
line.
space.
I'm sure there are many like Bible thumping whatever people
Passages?
down there. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
going like the end of days.
Lord, bless us from this weather.
Yeah,
You know,
The
yeah,
Mormons probably on point.
yeah,
the Mormons.
Yeah,
yeah.
they got all their grain. and-
Yeah.
Got shot by a laser on the road to Damascus. I can just see it now. Yeah.
Speaking of shooting, myself and Britt, you might have noticed I'm incredibly sunburnt. Right down.
Lobster.
Yeah, you take
Lobster.
Lobster.
Line.
you take
Line.
one. He takes one firearms course and he becomes a redneck.
Well, a red arm anyway, definitely. Whatever about his neck.
You know, to be honest, I thought that color went over your whole body.
Yeah,
That's racist.
No, no, the sun was pretty
you should have been
unbearable.
reapplying that sunscreen.
I should have been, and the fact is, I actually do look like a steak grill because you
Yeah.
notice there is a line.
Yeah,
There's red, and then there's like obviously white.
it's that spray shit. You know
embarrassing.
the spray on like, and then like half of it blows away in the wind, and you're not really sure how much really got on you. But
You'd have better lines if you used like an air fryer, you know. That was
Yeah.
You'd have been more in depth. Like,
The old.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not paying George Foreman any more money than he already has at this point.
But to be fair, after you applied the first of the sunscreen, you probably were already burning because you put it on too late.
Look, I mean, I'm Irish,
You've been
okay?
you've been living though in Arizona for long enough that you should. Have
I rarely
good-
get burned.
Good sunscreen.
I rarely get burned in Arizona.
Routines.
It's just this time, you know, you're out in the desert. I wasn't expecting it to be the way it was. We went and did a firearms concealed carry course yesterday.
Oh, you took the class.
No. We didn't
took a
take a
class.
carry conceal course because with that that's a non-shooting course and you can actually gain your certificate or whatever after that, like your paperwork.
But yeah, but
We took a course that helped us know how to pull from a concealed holster.
yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
But we
Was
can-
that at Rio
that's only-
Salado?
No, actually, it was originally supposed to be at Rio Salado, but we went out to Archangel in Maricopa County, just outside of, like, a couple of miles west of Maricopa itself, about 12
Yeah.
miles
it,
west.
It was like an hour. It was like a 50-minute drive from
Yeah.
here. It was a bit.
Yikes.
It was a bit of a trip. But yeah, shout out to DCS.training. If you go to the
Absolutely.
website, that's who we were through. And actually, the guy who was our main instructor, he had that course all day yesterday, and then he got on a plane this morning or last night or whatever. And
No, it wasn't a plane. He's doing it here in Arizona.
I thought he was going to the Capitol.
Did
No,
he get
no,
sunburned?
the Capitol House in Arizona.
Oh, the Capitol House in Arizona.
Yes,
Oh, I thought he was
so
like
in
going
Phoenix.
to Washington. Oh, I understand now.
Why do you
Okay.
need
Did
a
he
plane?
get sunburned?
Did he get sunburned?
does he
Oh,
do?
no, I don't think so.
No, he didn't get sunburned.
What does he do?
Why was he getting
He was
on
doing a
plane?
Second Amendment. He was asked to speak at a Second Amendment rally,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, down at the courthouse, down
and
at the Capitol building.
he actually like gave us like a little rundown of his speech because my dad like asked like, can you talk about what your involvement like tomorrow is a Second Amendment rally, and he kind of gave us he did like a
Synopsis.
warm up on I guess, and it was pretty cool. It was,
Yeah, he was talking about like militias being in the that militias are actually a carryover from our founders from England, because back in England it was very common that you would have every able man between the ages 16 and 60 would be ready, willing, and trained in militias, so that basically basically what the National Guard is now, and the National Guard is actually the modern day equivalent of the militia, except that they're I don't know. I mean, if 1776 should ever recommence, I don't know how quickly they're going to be on side of the people.
I wouldn't say that they're the new form of militia. I would say that the reason there aren't militias is because they took another path of using the National Guard. So that's a different concept that's being used. But for the first 300 years, or from 1600s to 1903, we had that type of militia instated, where every man had to do military service if he was able-bodied from 16 to 60.
Kind of like Israel.
Most of our history of our country that's not like a new idea. So really, we've kind of lost that.
I don't disagree with that. I think some sort of public service for a couple of years, should be required, whether it's going to the military or the Civilian Conservation Corps or AmeriCorps, something like that. Makes a lot of sense.
It breeds character, and you obviously have a little bit more respect for your country and everything if you have to go through that, So
that's something I think
you were saying, the Greeks are the same now too. They do like 2-3 years of their conscription essentially.
The Italians do it too. Yeah, the Italians. The Israelis are the most notorious.
I think of the Israelis. I think of the Israeli women that have to serve and go into.
It's great that Israel really got to equality before any. I was going to say equity, but equality. It's like, you're going into the military, but I'm a girl. No, you're going into the military. We're going to teach you how to actually beat a man down if necessary. None of this Charlize Theron in fucking. What was that show called?
Atomic Blonde?
I think I think that was the first swear of the episode, by the way. Atomic Blonde, yeah. It's like where it's like.
Actually, the combat choreography in that was really, really good, and she trained really hard for that. So actually, that's not the issue with that movie.
She's 110 pounds taking on men who are 250 pounds. You could sit on her, and that'd be the end of her. I mean, not the end of her, but it'd be the end of her fighting.
But you learn how to use someone else's weight against them.
That's judo to do that.
That's true, but that's actual real what you'd see in Krav Maga.
Yeah.
Krav Maga. I think we knew a Krav Maga, did we, Johnny?
Krav Maga.
Had to do that one.
Never heard of this
You worked
movie.
in the fish and chip shop, right?
You never heard of Atomic Blonde?
No.
It's
There's
okay.
some entertainment value in it.
There's some
for sure.
entertainment.
You're not missing anything, really.
Yeah? All right. Let us know in the comments if you've ever heard of this.
It was a big movie. It was another
From what?
a strike for the blow of feminism. It was another one of these films.
No, and I actually
That's
like
probably
her as
why I
an
didn't watch
actress,
it.
but it was
I
like
don't
one of
think
those.
it wasn't.
It's like the same now as like Commando, for example. No, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the fella who used to do all the fight scenes for them. He said by the time he was finished training, he would have been like a second-degree black belt for the actual training itself.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of do that. Like as you were saying, the action was very good in that.
Yeah.
The choreography was very good.
Fighting
as well.
choreography.
Yeah. I know. I mean, Commando didn't have a gay sex scene in it, which, I mean...
Oh, I was just going to say, there's some entertainment value, and that's exactly what I thought of.
The gay sex scene. Charlize Theron, some French hot chick. Well, I mean, no, she's French, so she wasn't hot. But I really
She's hot
I
on
have a thing
screen.
against the French, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. All Europeans do. Especially the French. They really don't like each other. But no, there's a sex scene.
Lesbian
sex scene between Charlize Theron and a French girl.
Why are you complaining?
I'm not. Why was I?
Okay,
I wasn't
basically
complaining.
what
I wasn't
And
complaining.
the funny thing is, he's not reacting normally because like he's red already. So
Yeah.
like there's no.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what's going on. No, basically, I believe it was like I'm not nerd about it or anything, but it was like a graphic. It wasn't based on a graphic novel.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just one of those action kind of spy noir a little bit.
That was a
with
bit
it.
graphic, all right, though.
And then
Jesus Christ. Oof.
with a graphic, yes.
You get a car crash for that one.
No,
Johnny.
it's good. I would say. I wouldn't say go home and watch it immediately or anything, but I think
By no
it's
means,
worth a
no.
watch. It's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Has
So.
some good performances in it.
But anyway, I mean, the whole thing about us actually out doing the self-defense carry. Oh, look at that for a segue. Self-defense.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about it was
I don't get it. What's the segue?
moving on.
It's like I'm trying to set up a segue. Like
No, I'm using that as a segue. You don't set up a Segway unless you buy one. But the whole
and drive
thing
off
was
a
that
cliff.
yeah, like the actual owner, the inventor of the Segway drove off a cliff on a Segway. It's
Yeah,
like,
we all know that. That's common knowledge, isn't it, at this point?
no, look at Seeky's face there. He's like, wait, what?
That's true. Isn't that beautiful?
sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
Pretty sure about
That's
that.
true. He actually died on a Segway.
By going off a cliff.
The tall guy with the goofy haircut.
I don't know what he looked like, but I just
Rick
thought-
Sanchez.
Yeah, Rick Sanchez.
He doesn't look like that anymore.
He kind of looks like.
I
Love it
assure-
off the top.
I assure
So
you.
you're
he
telling me
doesn't
he
look
looks
like
At
like
the
that
bottom and the side, and
anymore. Yeah.
So what you're telling me is he looks like Larry King 10 years ago.
He doesn't stand tall. He's.
Poor Larry King.
but
But
a snap bucket at this stage.
Yeah,
I
pour
guess.
one out for him.
but
Anyways,
Alright.
your guns. Your guns.
Self-defense?
So the big thing for me was obviously Brittany's very, very comfortable with a handgun.
Not really.
No,
but
you're
okay.
comfortable. You're comfortable with guns. But I mean, you even
Grew up
had
in
to admit.
Arizona, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even she had to admit, like holstering it,
I've never.
She's never
holstered.
done that.
I've not.
and neither have I. So you can imagine what I was like. I was like, and we were doing the repetitions. I mean, my arm actually feels great today. It's probably I'm gonna look like a lopsided Popeye after this because of all the arm exercises I had to do. And it's not even exercise; it's just doing the repetitions. So for the muscle memory,
Yeah.
Right.
getting it right, getting the feeling right, how your grip is. But I got to tell you, it's frightening when you do it first. It really is. It's and especially because me, I haven't actually been around a gun in probably maybe 6 months.
Well, that's another thing with the training too, is to get rid of that fear. You know what I mean? If you're not used to it, whatever, to the repetition just gets that. So it's,
yeah.
so
By-
it
By the
becomes
end of the day, I was walking around like
But that's
fucking Wyatt Earp.
But that's
Like,
what
I
I'm
was-
saying. But it becomes instinctual then, rather than
Yeah.
you actually thinking about it. If you're thinking about, oh God, I've got something here that could
Yeah.
kill me, like you're
This is true.
can overthink it.
I think the best way that was put before, because we kind of went around in a circle, introduced ourselves, and like also talked about like what we wanted to get out of that course. And I think one of the guys there put it the best. He said, I just want to be so comfortable that it doesn't always feel new. Like every time I pick up a gun, I don't want to feel like it's a brand new thing that I'm doing again. Like I want it to. So I thought that was a good way he put it. I didn't put it as well as he just did, but
yeah. But no, you're
yeah,
right.
you're like, yeah, I agree. You did not put it as well.
No.
No, he's like, I just don't want this to be a new experience every time
That
I do
actually
it.
was a new experience that the two of you actually agreed on something. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I just couldn't tell. He's like, yeah, that's right. You did not say that very eloquently at all. So actually, that's a classic experience. Me getting offended by something that he did not do.
But I mean,
That's awesome. Guilty by non-association.
but it's something I think we all have to get used to. I mean,
it's in my head now.
you're a carrier, aren't you, Seeky?
Yeah.
You are a carrier. Of
A
what
gun
exactly?
carrier,
Yeah.
a gun carrier.
carrier,
That's okay. Let's
Yes.
clear this up now straight
Let's
off.
clarify that. Yes, he's a gun. He's a. You carry concealed.
Well, you don't need a license here.
Yeah.
for
Yeah, it's
that,
true, you don't, yeah.
Which I think is probably a bad idea.
Yeah, it's
But
probably
yeah,
true.
I mean, it kind of depends on where I am. I'm not gonna go to the grocery store and be carrying all
Yeah.
the time, but I go out hiking and camping a ton, and
Oh, yeah.
in parts of Arizona, that's almost like a part of the attire. You know, you got
Yeah.
a cowboy hat, you got your boots, and you got a Glock or something on your side.
Yeah, you do. I think it's. I mean,
My dad says he's too lazy to always carry concealed.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just too lazy. And then Josh is on this fixation of, my dad does have a couple revolvers, but they're purely for like against like animal predators, or like when he's horseback riding, he has a really small revolver with him just in case a horse goes down, or sometimes he'll carry snake shot in case. So it's like that's what his revolvers are for. Josh is so into revolvers right now, and he's like, do not get a revolver for your
can
Well,
anybody-
Inspection.
I mean, myself actually having a concealed weapon inside in a grocery store makes a lot of sense. You don't want to be in the side. Get out of the side. You really don't want that. No, I'm before.
I get the last-
I'm before you at the register.
Yeah.
Right.
oh, well, I mean, we did.
I
Have,
get the glass can of ravioli, buddy. Last package of toilet
You
paper.
gotta ask yourself, do you feel lucky? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. a coin flip at the
speaking
register.
of that kind of thing, we did have that.
Call it.
We had that recently down at the bar. I think you two were there down at.
No, it's just me.
Oh, it was just you who
Me
saw
and
it.
some random guy, they got into a beef with each other, and this guy pulled out a gun. And he
Holy
wasn't pointing directly at us. He was kind of sweeping us. So it's one of those situations. Just
Wait,
two guys
what?
like
This happened last night?
No.
It was a couple weeks ago. This guy was walking past, and another guy was on the phone, and for some reason, these two thought
That's it, you
they were
can't go
talking
there
to each other. And the dude who was walking past just starts yelling at him and pulls out a gun out of his pocket, and he's like yelling at him, you know,
His
sweeping
pocket?
all of us. Yeah.
It wasn't even that. It wasn't
He was
even
wearing
a
gym
holster.
shorts. Yeah, he was wearing gym shorts.
Oh my
And he had
gosh.
it there. And I'm like, that is a dumb idea.
Yeah.
And then somebody yells, "Call the cops!" And he, starts
Even-
going away. And I'm like, no, we don't call the cops here.
Even the little girl in True Grit at least had a flower bag for her holster.
Yeah.
That's true.
Put it in her gym shorts.
Gym shorts.
Pockets.
Oh my
And
god.
a stretch and one. Oh!
That's so crazy. So he clearly didn't look like someone who like
He must have been.
knew what he was
Clearly not.
doing.
No.
Like,
Because
how-
if you knew what you were doing, you wouldn't. Any amount of beef that you get into someone, words wise,
yeah.
Yeah.
don't.
Well, see,
you're not
if
gonna
you
do
actually
that.
get to the point where you have to draw a gun, you've lost the argument.
Yeah.
To me personally, like you've lost the argument.
This is true. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you see, like you hear stories like that, but that's not like an actual gun owner. Like, in the
No, he
sense-
owns that gun.
No, what I mean, like in the sense of like I don't know, it's just like that's so sketchy. Like it seems like he just happened to like come in possession of this weapon. Like when I think of a gun owner, I think of someone who's really responsible. They have they've been through courses. They've trained with their weapon.
But
The
see,
fact that he doesn't even have a
Yeah,
holster,
but
to conceal
there's
it.
there's no barrier to entry in America. You
Yeah.
can just go buy one, and now you're a
I
gun
know.
owner. So yeah, I
There's a-
agree with
there's
you.
a
Like when I
difference
think of those, I think of the people that I know that carry responsibility.
Yeah, responsible gun owner.
you're-
And then there's people that just happen to have a gun.
But
and
you
you're like,
shouldn't be
what the fuck are you
using a
doing with
gun
that?
to in an argument like that. Like you use a gun to like defend yourself or defend your property.
Well, that's how we won the Wild West.
You know what I mean?
well,
But
that's exactly it.
it's like a case. Okay, you've been too smart in this conversation. I win. Put out the gun.
And
you know,
I mean, you even own like a firearm.
We've got a firearm.
You've got a firearm
Yeah,
yourselves.
but, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been up to like Wyoming and stuff, and I've like done a little bit of shooting and stuff. But like me myself personally, like I mean, if I ever get to the point whereby someone comes in,
Yeah.
I've got a nice little bat inside now that can probably take out someone fairly quick.
Yeah,
so I'm
that's-
good.
My
like,
question is, if you heard this sound and you saw that man walk around the corner with a shotgun,
get off my lawn.
Get
that
off
was
my
not a
lawn.
good. That was not a good sound. I need to find something better.
shotgun rack.
It sounds like a little kid's like toy, the one that you like.
Do it
It's just like
again.
the one
Do it
click,
again.
like, you know, the little noisemaker. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It's like the start of that Pink Floyd.
Is that supposed to be a shotgun pump?
Oh yeah, I even have the.
But you know
I
what I'm
think
talking about, the little like classic noisemaker where you
yeah.
rattle around. It's like the first click of it.
Or the little raptor things.
Yes.
Used to have them for the soccer matches back in the day.
Yes.
it's a very limited soundboard, folks. Come on, give me a break. I'm working with the best of things I've got here. I've put this all together with spit and glue and my own sweat, blood, and tears.
Wasn't like a Uzi 9mm with
at
laser
least
sightings, It's like
Well, I mean, if you want that, I have a really bad gunshot sound.
I like the way it just cuts off like that.
But
rabbit season.
so duck even. So yeah, no, I mean, it was doing the whole thing. It was very. It is weird how quickly you get used to having a gun on your hip, and it really was a great experience. I now want to own a gun more than anything in the world, and I now have actually kind of gone away from my delusions with the revolver or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to buy a revolver, and I want to go to the range with a revolver, but as a carry weapon, I'm thinking of Glock 19, something like that.
I just want something that has stopping power. That's pretty much. You don't have to have something that's huge.
Well, you just want something that's really easy to use too, but it's also really safe. So that's why you
We've
use
got a
like,
shotgun at the house,
Yeah.
so we actually do legitimately have a shotgun at the house. So yes,
I know, you've chased me off your lawn many a time. He's creeping.
The bathroom's inside. Get off my lawn.
M&P.
yeah, that's what we were shooting
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
We were shooting
Yeah,
M&Ps.
that's kind of the new Glock. They're preferred by a lot of people now, and good for concealed carry. Pretty safe. Multiple
Yeah,
different
really,
safety
yeah.
functions.
You're talking about the compressor on the trigger.
They
No.
also have a thumb a thumb thing. So you
Yeah,
have to have your hand on the back of the.
They call
the
it
grip.
the beaver tail. That's
The
what they were
beaver
calling
tail?
it yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, I never knew that.
So that's basically like a child lock, like for cigarettes.
Essentially, yeah, it's like trying to open your
Yeah.
pill bottle or something.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. He
They-
actually broke apart one and like was showing us like this is what has to happen for like the striking pin to get hit, plate to get hit, and like all this stuff, and he's talking the difference between single and double action, and I got a little confused. In some
I
of the
had no idea
logistics.
about the single double action. Now I have a better idea, and I'd be a single action guy all day.
And he was showing like what how you want to have a holster with like 2 points of contact and like make sure it's like how tight you want it to be. Like he was basically showing like you should be able to turn it upside down and kind of go like that and it should
Yeah,
fall out.
he knew his shit. Like he
Yeah.
was, he did tours in Afghanistan, Iraq. He was doing security, private security. The two guys he had with him, one was a competition shooter, the other guy was an ex-cop. So
Really nice guys.
The ex-cop was such a nice guy, absolute sweetheart. Like he walked up to me because at one point like, I was doing the aiming, and he came up and he came up to me and he's like, "You okay?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm fine." And he's like, "I just noticed you're shaking." I was like, "Oh no, I always shake. It's okay."
That's
It's-
just the cocaine, sir. When do we get the freaking gun?
It's the Parkinson's. It's the Parkinson's. Worry about it.
gun until I learn your name.
I've got Parkinson's, but fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You see
I
this
make a
hand?
mean milkshake.
You see this hand?
This is the other
Steady
hand.
as a rock, but I shoot with this hand.
That's funny.
That's a great movie. Okay, I think we're going to quickly, I mean, just ending up on that one. I loved it. I want a gun. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I know my mom and dad are frightened
Yeah,
of guns,
he
but
took pictures of me just simply to terrify his mother.
yes, I
She's
did.
just like at home. She's got like her rosary bead. She's like, oh god, oh god.
Oh, God.
See, like, I could probably talk to that now because, like, in Ireland, the actual gun laws and everything are totally different to over here.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
it's like even the guards themselves don't have guns.
Yeah,
They just have the
Yeah.
sniper squad. So, growing up with having guns and the ability to use guns and everything, it's a whole different cultural type of idea. So I can understand it now from her point of view. That she just be. You always hear the horror story across the thing, like
yeah.
the kid killed the mother or something, 6-year-old, shot the mother, right? And we were like, I was making the joke about that the other night. Like,
Yeah, what happened to the father? He
father.
was shot last week.
That's what I said to him. Shot last
Where
week.
was this?
You said it was in Florida or something, was it? Or Louisiana?
I thought it was the Carolinas.
Was it the
North Carolina?
North Carolina?
It was Chad who was telling us.
Chad was telling the story, but apparently she had like 5 kids and she had a loaded gun inside and her purse or whatever.
What do you mean she had 5 kids? The kids aren't dead. She is.
No. She had them. She doesn't know
Yeah,
about
she doesn't have them
anymore.
anymore.
But she went into one of the kids took the actual thing and shot her.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
we're going to leave it at that for the opening segment. Now we're going to move on to a bit that we like to call Britt's Bits, and this is, of course, Brittany gets to have a little bit of fun. Brittany, do your bit.
All right, welcome to the potpourri part of the program where I get to talk about whatever the hell I want. So, Brit's Bits, I think it's only appropriate that this is about, well, you'll see.
Will we?
If
Well,
anybody-
here we mightn't see.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
right.
gonna make a joke at the top, and then I realized that would give away what. Yeah, anyway. So if anybody was around Josh, a couple weeks in proximity of Josh, within a couple weeks after him watching the film Sicario, he would have been talking about it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
At some point, he was obsessed with it. So I actually happen to have a scoop from south of the border. If you'd like to hear, I think
Well,
it might intrigue you.
Sure, but just 1 second.
Yeah.
Wasn't I talking to you about Sicario? That you've never seen it?
No, I haven't.
You haven't.
I probably tuned that conversation out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
At least he's honest. That's good.
Well, you can't ask for any more than that. You've seen it though, Johnny, right?
No.
All right, you two have homework assignments. Go home and watch Sicario, you motherfuckers.
It came out 6 years ago at this point. No, it is a good film.
It's great.
But I kind of saw this headline and I thought, ooh, Josh will like this, instead of being horrified like any other human being should have been. But so on February 12th, in Guadalajara, 18 plastic bags full of hacked up body parts. So Oh, no reaction there. Okay. No reaction. No gas. No one clutching their pearls.
No.
Par for the course.
I mean,
Yeah, I know exactly.
I'm sitting here looking at a Jaws book over here, so like I'm probably getting like
I felt like
desensitized
there was-
for all that, you know.
There was a bit of distraction going on in the room for whatever reason. But
No. As Seeky said, kind of par for the course. That's not shocking.
No, I know.
It's Guadalajara. What do you expect?
So yeah, that's what I was going to say. The Brit's Bits comes into place because this is actually a story about a body broken up into a million bits along the overpass.
Shit! Wow!
Chopped up into bits. They're actually not sure how many bodies they belong to.
Oh my god!
But and
Okay, this is a new par. This is a par like 1.
No, so the police followed a breadcrumb trail, if you will. No, they happened to find one human limb, just along the highway overpass, and that led them to, well, what's to investigate over there? And so they went over there, and they found all these taped up bags, 18 bags total, like in a gully somewhere there.
Oh my god!
Like I said, I tried to see if there were any updates. This was just on February 12th. But there aren't any updates. I just kind of saw the same article being released all over and over again. But yeah, so this is in Guadalajara, near, I guess there's a...
So what you're telling us is people in Guadalajara have seen Fargo and kind of
Yeah.
wanted to reenact their
Yeah.
their fantasies at the end of that movie.
But I'll just give you a little bit more facts here. So that's Guadalajara is home to Jalisco New Generation Cartel.
Jalisco.
Jalisco, yeah, you're right.
Jalisco.
I'm sorry, I should know that.
You had
Jalisco.
one up on the gun thing with
Yeah.
your Arizona card, but
Yeah.
now you're one
No,
down with
I
your
know.
Spanish pronunciations.
I just last minute looked over this, but yeah, if it has a J, it's a H sound. I should know that.
So basically, instead of like showing the finger, they showed all the fingers. Is that
Yeah.
pretty much it?
Man, that's such a gringo right there. All right, anyway. So most violent and powerful. That was one of those things I probably would have looked up how to pronounce it before I started. But like I said, nobody knows. I was called in last minute, by the way,
Yes. Super
Because-
sub.
Rallied.
because
Super sub.
your friend
How dare you?
called out sick on his first day on the job.
He's on Irish time.
Yeah,
Fired.
nursing a hangover.
You're
Anyway, a little more, like I said, so which is considered the most violent and powerful. Sorry for that little segue there.
All right.
Or derailing there. Anyway, the cartel has been fighting with breakaway factions for the last couple of years. In November alone, just this last November, they recovered 113 bodies
Oh my.
and a secret grave there in the town of El Salto. And that's what it's called.
El Salto.
Yeah,
But it's not secret anymore.
Yeah, gonna say.
Chop,
El
chop.
Salto.
How secret was it
I don't
that
know,
they
there's
found
a,
it?
There's a joke in there somewhere about people being very salty there and putting them each other in secret graves. But yeah, 189 corpses total in 2020 in that area.
Oh my.
Recovered.
189.
Yeah.
Which is actually the number of extras in Thriller, just to let you know.
Yeah. And one other last fun fact about the Mexican cartels and drug wars is that since 2006, when the drug wars really started, 80,000 people are still listed on the missing.
80,000.
Yeah, 80,000 people.
That is quite literally. Oh my god, that's 4 Tremors.
It's actually.
I heard they all
no,
died of COVID, actually.
It's actually.
yeah, yeah.
It's pretty much what would feel like
Yeah, they'll just add them to the COVID list.
the Aztec Stadium, pretty much for the soccer, is you're 2/3 capacity from that.
Hey, gringos, welcome to the Stadium of Bones, huh?
How terrifying is that?
Don't
It's
worry, it's just a name.
Like, how terrifying is that? It's like, well, he just never came home.
He
Like,
went out
it's
for
just
a
like-
pack of cigarettes. He never came. No, sorry. He went out
But
for
you
a pack of
have-
cigarellos and he never came home, eh?
Yeah.
That's
He was
what
my
happened.
essay, and now I'm writing an essay about my essay. It's essay Inception. I wish I had an Inception.
No, I'm glad you don't.
No, that's tragic.
But also, when I read Guadalajara, it made me think of that dear friend we met over the last
Oh,
weekend.
that dear friend we met.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she and towards the night, she was, because of her her communist boyfriend, she was like trying to say that America was a bad place to be, and then she's coming from Guadalajara where 80,000 people are on the missing list because of cartels.
No, I just hear Guadalajara and I just think of Maradona beating England in the World Cup. That's pretty much.
Hey, Britt,
Yeah.
Britt, could you tell the boys what she said to you about your dimples? Please tell. Please.
My dimple, I think I only have one, but she... No,
Okay, can I tell the boys what she said about your dimples?
she's like, oh, you have dimples. I could just scoop up, like, guacamole out of there.
So
It
the
was
first
really
place
awkward.
everybody needs to visit next year when all this COVID thing
It
is
was
done is
really-
Guadalajara, right?
Yeah.
It's got everything for everybody.
Yeah.
You get guacamole, body parts. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I had an Uber driver who was from somewhere down there, and he that's exactly what he said. He's like, I came to America, it was in Los Angeles. I came to Los Angeles because when I was 19 years old, some guys came into my town and said, hey, this is ours now. He's like,
Oh my God.
fucking
Yeah.
go on.
That's crazy.
I'm done. I'm going to go live the American dream by
In
becoming
Los
a
Angeles.
driver out in Los Angeles.
Hey,
what's
hard-working
changed?
dude.
What's changed? What's changed for him? He went to Los Angeles. Oh, really? You could have went to Iowa and really gotten a different view. And like, no, you went to Little Mexico. You just.
Yeah, LA's not
Why?
an easy place to live either, but I'm sure it's
it's
much of a
great.
step up from Guadalajara where
Be
the
careful.
cartel
Yes,
comes
yes.
Be
in.
careful with the California hate now, because we have a man here who loves San Francisco, and not just for the bathhouses.
You get cleaner. You get a lot cleaner.
You get clean, but you go out dirty and die dirty.
Yeah.
You go the way of Rock Hudson.
Anyway,
You went to San Francisco and got scared of everything you saw.
Believe me, there was plenty of San Francisco I was afraid of, but it wasn't the bathhouses, of which I would frequent on a daily basis with my good friend Tig. We would shave each other's backs.
Didn't you lose your wallet?
Well, I
in
think
the
no,
gay
actually,
bar?
considering now that you only had like 5 minutes to prepare something, that was actually quite interesting.
I'm gonna,
oh yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I-
I was gonna say that's it in the Brits bits. That's basically all I had.
very good. No, but I mean, that's the great thing about Bits. It's brought up better topics. Other topics.
come
Better?
on.
Did I say better? Okay, let me just stop. Okay. But it's brought up other topics of conversation as well, which is good, because I like that, because we have a room full of people. This is a different type of Bits. And yes, I lost my wallet in what
Castro.
San Francisco would colloquially call a bar. But to me, it was a gay bar. Because
That's
every
my
bar in
wallet.
San Francisco is a gay bar.
No.
Oh, they are so gay. All of them are so gay. My friend went in to use the bathroom at one bar, and they were all giving me shit because, like, I lost my wallet at a gay bar. And it was like, oh, whatever.
Wasn't that a song? I lost my wallet in San Francisco.
And you can't be looking at me like this because I told you this. But
I don't remember. I
all
was
right.
looking at
I bet you were
anyway,
at Mission and Castro and you picked a random bar and you're like, they're all gay.
I
here."
don't know where it was in the city, to be honest with you. I know it was near that big triangle building. It was somewhere near there.
Okay.
Because that cityscape is completely lost on me. I don't have a
A
clue.
triangle building that's not a pyramid.
Trans-American Pyramid.
Trans-American Pyramid, yeah. It's right across from the Scientology place. But yeah,
The
but
transgender pyramid is that what you're talking about?
very good, Johnny. And you get an offensive point for that.
What happened? Okay, can I just ask you what happened to the word transvestite?
A transvestite and a transgender are different things.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
No, Tim Curry patented it.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think a transvestite is a cross-dresser. Mm-hmm. As transgender is a, gender swapper.
Taking it a little step further.
Yeah, but where's my transvestites
Well,
at? Where's my transvestites at, yo?
They all went to
So
Transylvania.
there was 80,000 transvestites actually went to Guadalajara, and we haven't heard from them anymore.
I'm just waiting in
Oh my
anticipation.
There was bits of bodies everywhere. No, man, that's
he
just the
doesn't
trans
appreciate- he's
club
never seen
over
Rocky
there.
Horror.
They're all cutting the bits off themselves. We just throw them in the hole. Could you
Jesus
imagine
Christ,
that?
Gobo's over here.
Could you imagine that? It's like, oh my God, I just found hundreds of thousands of body parts, mostly penises. It's like, no, that's like, like Planned Parenthood throw their fetuses in the trash. That's just the transsexual clinic over there, whatever
Yeah,
they call
but
it.
it's bad cutting up 80,000 people. Like, you can't dress that up. Like, even if you're a transvestite, you couldn't do that.
They basically sounded like Ed Gein's home. They'd find like boxes
my
of
God.
like just disembodied like vaginas.
Yeah.
He had like a collection of like noses and like other body parts and that nipple belt.
Speaking of
This
noses,
is a
And then
Murderino
that
moment.
happens to not be the first time I brought up that
I know.
the little organic pocket pussies he had.
Speaking of noses,
But
That's going to be the next craze next year, kids.
he used,
Right?
he used it in a different way. He wanted
Coming to
to.
your farmer's market.
Forget
near
about
you.
your Cabbage Patch Kids. We've got these organic.
But
we've
he
got
used
these bush kids.
He used it in a different way instead of he wanted to be a woman, so
Yeah.
he like put it on top of his other genitalia, and so it's kind of like that
Buffalo
Bill moment of
Buffalo
like,
Bill.
I'd fuck me, would you fuck me?
Would you?
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
Jalisco.
You don't need-
Jalisco Travel Bureau.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. You have some hard work
Yeah.
ahead of you.
Yeah, exactly.
So after all this talk,
Jalisco
anyways,
Travel
let's
Bureau.
talk about the broadcaster who just
They
died
should have
there
a museum
recently.
down there. Here are
Well,
the body parts.
Yes.
I think.
That should have been one of those bodies. Hot take.
Oh wow! Well, we are going to move into that
Would
now.
you go to a museum of all those body parts displayed?
Oh, there's one in
It's like, how
there's
many
one in
corpses-
England. There's one in England where a guy he buys all these body parts and he displays them in like House of Horrors kind of style.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would love to go to that.
Of course you would.
It's not like murdered people. It's like some guy's head who he wanted to sell when he died. It's just curios.
That is pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would totally go to that.
Yeah.
Madame Tussauds meets House of Wax.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, now I'm looking up what is Jalisco known for. 'cause
So,
I'm really hungry.
Britt, thank you for doing your bit. That was truly, I won't say a delight because it was absolutely horrifying.
Like I said,
but
it should have been horrifying when I saw that. I just thought of you and your obsession of Sicario lately, and
And he did say it was going to lead to something better, but
Yeah.
but we'll see. We'll
Well,
let it go.
let's move on with
no, you
this.
just got a topic to lead discussion. It's fine.
Well, that's the point of a podcast, isn't it? In this case, more of a radio-style show of podcast, but whatever. We are going to move
Sausage
on
Factory
now to our next segment.
talk.
You know it, you love it. This is where we go after the news for the week, and this is called Pressing the Presses. Yes, that music is what it is, of course. Breaking news from the news desk. Yes, here we go, folks. So, of course, the big story, I think, of the week was Rush Limbaugh has passed away age 70 from lung cancer. He was diagnosed, I think, February of last year. After his diagnosis, of course, he got the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Donald Trump at the time. And you could see it on his face. He was very, very shocked and surprised that he actually got it. And in fairness to him, I mean, no matter what you think about Rush Limbaugh, I think he was a titan. He was a media titan. Love him, hate him, disagree with him. The man was a media titan. He was always pro-America, more so than anything. That's always the impression I got from him. And I'm only ever going to, not that I grew up in the United States to understand listening to Rush, but my first, and I'll get into it now in a minute, but my first familiarity with Rush Limbaugh was that Family Guy episode, where he played himself, and he quite literally, I mean, it was a great thing where you could see liberals, conservatives, whatever. You can get on and you can have one good message. Be true to yourself. And that was the thing he had to teach Brian. Brian being a staunch liberal character who, after reading Rush's books, became staunchly conservative, even more conservative than Rush himself. And Rush had to say, it's like, you took everything I read and you took everything I wrote and took it literally. You can't, it's basically, you can't say these things. You have to allow people to get to the conclusion by their own merit, to realize it. And I thought that was a wonderful kind of lesson to actually have. So, and of course, I mean, the first real familiarity I came with Rush Limbaugh was, and I didn't even know it, unknowingly, Birch Barlow from The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
Birch Barlow. It
was a spoof.
Freedom, likers. This is Birch Barlow, the 6th branch of government. You know, but yeah, I mean, the man, he did a lot for the media landscape. He really allowed conservatives actually, in a lot of the mainstream media, in my opinion, is very much held down by the and I won't call him liberal media. The way he would call them liberal media, I don't think it's liberal media anymore. I think it's really this cultish propaganda kind of thing. And we have the receipts to see that.
Elite.
Yeah, but we have the receipts to see this kind of thing where they all parrot the same talking points, and the point is, we have a message. We must tell you this, and you see that video. It's a very scary video. It's a very scary video. Very scary video. You want to look at it? Very
Trump,
scary.
you're fired. Get out of here.
All right, I'm
For the
out.
last time.
But it's very true. I mean, alternative voices do need the airwaves. We're an alternative voice. We're just a podcast that makes shit jokes. But, you know, based on the freedom of speech that will go on in this room, as a freedom of speech absolutist, I think that every voice needs to be heard. Mostly because you need to hear good ideas and you need to hear bad ideas. You need to hear bad ideas and be able to extrapolate them as bad ideas.
Well, I would take now a step further. It's like you can actually hear someone else's point of view. I was totally against yours,
This is true.
but it reaffirms what you think is right in your own head. Like, I mean, I thought it was kind of bad form that they gave him the freedom thing, especially in Black History Month.
Ooh.
Which would have been, you know, for him being seen as... Now, I came here in 98 and I've listened to the guy, and like, sometimes he would make a very valid point. He would actually cut through, and sometimes then he would be totally overboard.
Mm-hmm.
And
As entertainers can be.
As entertainers can be,
Yes.
it's almost you go for the shock value.
Yeah, absolutely.
And trying to, sometimes you have to kind of go through the weeds to kind of find what you want from that actual aspect. He came across as like, you know, a good family man and everything else in terms of that. He had built an awful lot of bands went up through. Like even like certain bands like Kiss and stuff when they first come up was like staunch people for them, like in getting them into places and everything, and making sure they got contacts and everything. But
I think Kiss might have actually predated Rush Limbaugh. in fairness.
but he was going up through. Like, I mean, like in terms of like they're one of the very few one of the bands that he actually used to actually back and stuff.
Well, Kiss are actually known as kind of a conservative band. Number one, they're all Jewish. Number two, they're staunch capitalists. I mean, have you seen the Kiss baby coffin?
This is a Kiss baby coffin. You can buy it on Kiss.com, courtesy of me, Gene Simmons.
Well, like, but the point I'm trying to say in terms of it now is like, I mean, obviously you're sorry for the family, or, you know, I mean, nobody wants, especially with like
very
stage
true.
4 cancer and stuff. I mean, that's
that's a terrible
Yeah,
way.
but that weight loss though, am I right?
Well, they all do that.
I wish I had the applause ready for that. I do.
But
So-
I just thought myself.
We're not above making jokes here.
But
No, because that was the
I just thought myself when a lot of people would have seen him as probably like racist,
Satan.
or like I mean, the fact that he would get it in February during Black, you know.
Yeah, but like, I mean, this is just
American thing,
to me
like
that's
this.
all arbitrary.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I
You know,
wouldn't think that would be.
For me,
issue.
he had a lot of. He was great at what he did.
Yes.
He had a lot of talent and really, you know, kind of knew how to capture an audience. So you got to
Stirred the pot, yeah. He was
respect the
stirred the pot,
game.
yeah. I like that.
But you said, Jonathan, you said, you know, that he started this new discourse, and I think he actually killed a lot of discourse because you know, back in my radio days, you had more local hosts. You had more people in the middle of the day. You could tune in. You could hear these guys talking, and they're talking about stuff happening in the community. It was a local flavor, and then
So you're talking about syndication.
they started blasting him nationwide, and now it's cheaper to have him running in the middle of the day rather than, you know, some local talk program that was actually talking, you know, engaging in real issues in the community. The other thing is,
Okay.
you said it's mainstream media. Fox has been the top network for evening news for a very long time, and I know, you know, they've changed lately, and there's been differences, and so, you know, it's not a conservative darling anymore.
I would say Fox really held it because of somebody like Tucker Carlson. Because I mean, Sean Hannity was always kind of the mouthpiece, and Bill O'Reilly, they were the mouthpieces.
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly more so. I'd say
But Tucker has, and I think it's because Tucker is actually far more fair than either of them. Hannity, now I like Sean Hannity in the sense, I like him kind of like, as a person, he seems actually like a very good guy. Bill O'Reilly, he's more old school. I don't know by today's standard, you can call him a good guy, but these guys seem to be, they're old school broadcasters. Tucker is very much of the new school, I think, which is why he's very fair. He's willing to talk things, but if you say something crazy, he'll call it out like that. Mm-hmm. That's what I like. Hannity will just kind of bowl you over. He's not a great interviewer. Bill O'Reilly is self-righteous O'Reilly. There was a lot of self-righteousness about him, but that's an old school newscaster and thing. Dan Rather is Walter Cronkite. They're self-righteous guys, but they weren't allowed to show this partisanism. Well, Rather it has been as of late, but Cronkite wasn't. Cronkite was a left-leaning guy, but you never would have known it when he was doing the news, because he
would just give you the news.
He would give you the news.
Just leaning
Exactly.
this way or that way.
Yeah.
And that's the problem actually in the last say 20 years.
Yes.
Well, like basically every station is basically leaning towards one or the other. Rather than just give me the facts and I'll make up my own mind.
I think it's just corporate interest too. They're just trying to go after a market base.
It is, absolutely.
In radio, you're looking for a specific demographic. You want to hit that demographic.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about money at the end of the day. It's all about the bottom line. When it comes to the corporate, I mean, everybody says to me, like, what's so good about capitalism? And I was like, and I would say, well, what's so bad about it? And everything they explain to me, I'll just say, you did not explain one bit of capitalism to me. You went through American corporatism, which is not capitalism. It's American it's its own separate entity. It is something that is taking advantage of capitalism and government control and creating this corporate kind of state. It's an offshoot of capitalism. Capitalism kind of allows it to be there, but every other ideology will find a way that for corporatism to be there. Corporatism is its own thing that will grow no matter what your ideology is. It's there.
Right. Well, it's just to kind of end it here, in terms of what, I didn't agree with everything he came out and said. He was definitely a titan for what he did. But it's it's the same thing. I'd have the same respect now, say, for Ian Paisley, for example.
Ian Paisley, yeah, absolutely.
Staunch for what he believed in.
Yeah,
unwavering. Unwavering from what he was working with, and compared to my kind of thought process was totally anti what we do. But you had to respect the man for actually...
For having the balls to do it.
But holding to his own truths.
Holding the line.
He's definitely a pioneer when you think about that.
Yeah.
So I found this thing on Twitter. Somebody put this up. It's like, reasons you should hate Rush Limbaugh. Now Twitter became...
After he died?
On the day of his death. Now this is what I hate about Twitter. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, I didn't like... Or even we did a podcast very short order after it. I didn't like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, what she stood for, but I commended her as a tough old woman who really stuck by her arguments, her morals, all of that. I commend. It's like the world is actually you need more people like that in the world, right or wrong. You need these strong people in the world.
You don't want flip-floppers
Exactly. So we paid her tribute. I said the exact same thing on my Twitter. The tweet is out there.
You showed the thing when you had Trump after getting the news.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And Trump,
he genuinely looked like he was upset.
And Trump was quite literally. He was very magnanimous about it. I didn't agree with her, but I'm sorry she's passed. My thoughts of her to the family. Very presidential from a president. It was. From a president who was known as very unpresidential, which is what we liked about him. What I liked about him, anyway. But this kind of shit was popping up all over the internet. When Rush died, the left wing went into celebration mode, whereas when RBG died, the right wing went into commiseration mode. That is a stark difference between the two. And by the way, the left wing, they're supposed to be tolerant and unifying. This is not tolerant and unifying. This
there's a big difference now between someone in the position she was in and a radio presenter. I mean, just put it to the levels to know what you're looking at.
True.
Yeah, I think though you're kind of looking at the most negative of either side. There was certainly people like me who you know what, I'm not sad that he's not on the air anymore because I don't agree with the way that he does things, and not just from a political viewpoint. I kind of have an issue with.
But you're a broadcaster.
Radio,
you were a broadcaster yourself.
Radio guys who are just trying to instigate.
Yeah.
But
I like that kind of radio, though. That's the thing.
Yes, you do. You
of course
really
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Never a guess.
But it's the worst of both sides, because you have people like me who are going to say, hey, sad to see him go. I guess it's sad when anybody
what he did for the medium.
Or
what he did for the medium
gets a little bit digged in there.
Oh yeah,
kind of
no,
idea.
Differently, yeah. No,
but
I know
yeah.
you think differently from the way. I mean, we think differently from each other.
I think a lot more
that's-
people think that same way though than what you see on Twitter. You know,
Well, that's
I
it.
was supposed to say,
It's
if you want to
fringe
see
media.
some shit, you go to Twitter. Like that's
Yeah.
what you're gonna see. Like,
Yeah.
the, like
I mean, myself and Seeky, we
fucking worst
we
of
have
humanity.
it's like
we-
watching TMZ.
yeah, exactly. Like you're gonna get the worst of the worst.
It's
That's
true.
not really like an active
Oh,
people
Twitter
on
is
Twitter.
TMZ of the
There-
internet. Nice.
There are a lot of people who are on Twitter that have a Twitter that are just spectators. There's very few that are actually active on it though. That are so like you're getting like the very rare. You're getting like a very small population of people, and they're just like they really are like the bottom of the cesspool.
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
true.
of
It's
times,
like- it's
you
like
know?
this-
Bag
like,
of deplorables, basket of deplorables.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Just too many protesters and not enough protest songs. You know, I mean,
Yes,
it's
true,
kind
yeah.
of that kind
Yeah,
of
so they stopped the
situation,
protest
you
songs
know.
and got these cookie cutter chants going now that are bought and paid for. Now, you and I, Seeky, would see very differently from each other, but we would agree on a lot more. And we've had this conversation many times down the bar. We agree on a lot more than we would disagree with each other in a lot of ways. We just have different kind of methodology about going about it. I think in a lot of ways.
You'll get to the same point in the road, but it's going to take you. You're going to take different routes to get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
At the end
and
of the day,
Which is why we're
you want
friends.
The same things.
You know.
right.
It's why we're able, I mean, he'd be left wing, I'd be right wing, but we're, at the end of the day, you and I are able to still, I mean, there's a reason you're in my fucking home right now. You know? It's not just because
I
you were
infiltrated.
broadcasting.
Antifa made our way in.
Yeah, no. It's because I do consider you a
No,
good friend.
because what happened
That's
is
why.
you did your shotgun, and he was so like upset about that the sound. He was like,
No, I got a
debating
hard
with-
on.
Yeah.
I'm an Arizonan first.
Yeah.
And that's actually a big thing about you, which I would actually agree with you. Your regionalism. You are very, very much a regionalist.
It's community, you know,
Yeah.
and I think actually Champions is a great example of that. It's hippies and
Yes.
cowboys. You know,
Yeah.
you could have bikers defending a black guy, and you could have the cowboys defending the hippie, and you know, it's
But it's a neighborhood bar.
It's America.
yes, it's
America.
protecting your community.
It's a melting pot of
Yeah.
people out there locally, and places like that need to be kind of preserved.
Yeah.
And that's what I love
They're
about
not getting
Champions.
caught with like the big
Yeah.
chains or whatever it is.
Champions is quite literally a microcosm of America, of what America is supposed to be. It's a place where we can go in. We've all said horrible things down there, and gotten the biggest laughs.
Yeah.
For saying these horrible things, but we'd also be very, very like speaking true to ourselves. All of us, we'd speak true to ourselves, and if somebody wants to have an issue with us and try, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We're not going to think any less of you, but sometimes people think less of you for talking to. You had that fight with Kevin. Myself and Johnny don't think any less of you or Kevin, but we know it was a difference of opinion and a difference of, and also you being an edgelord meme bastard about it. In fairness,
Being a
but I mean, like you propagated, you fanned the flames a little bit, but we didn't expect him to have the reaction he did. It was nobody's fault, maybe a little bit your fault.
Kevin's
Yeah, a
a bit
little
of a
bit.
hothead, and I
Kevin
haven't
is a
met him
hothead.
very
Poked
much,
a
but I
little
already
bit.
know that.
But he's a
Well,
good-
there's
but he is a
reasons
good
I
guy.
was poking.
I know, but he is a good guy.
You know,
in
I think a
terms.
good example is there's a fellow that goes in there. He's a gay man in his like 60s who wears an NRA hat and an NRA shirt.
Really.
Yeah, and he's a dichotomy, and that's Gilbert. That's this area.
Yeah.
Just about everyone's immigrated to here at some point.
Well, look, you don't have to be a
It's a
Democrat
big-
to be a gay. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Well,
that helps.
But
I don't even think
it doesn't
he's
actually. It's a
Republican.
detriment.
I don't even think he's Republican. He just likes guns.
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, that's true. That doesn't
Yeah,
mean, yeah, NRA doesn't necessarily
It's
mean.
all over the map, and that's a great place about a place like that. You get
Yeah.
all sorts of
But
different
it,
you learn
it
from
is
them.
weird how that scene, like, that you're on, like,
Yeah.
more of a it's more outside of the box if like you're gay and you're conservative, like you have to
Yeah.
almost like be like I hate
So
how that
you're
I
an
hate
individual
how,
with
I hope
individual
that,
thought.
no, I hope that eventually goes away, like where that doesn't seem like it's contradicting, kind of like saying like, well, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, like it's just
Yeah,
like
that
I
was-
hope that
yeah.
that the whole like being
Yeah, but, like,
lumped into an identity.
Stereotypes
But,
are
like, the
not.
whole-
Yeah,
fun.
stereotypes and like you being classified into a group
Right.
of
Yeah.
identity.
You're an individual.
Yeah.
And,
You're an
and-
individual. Stop this collectivization of shit. I don't believe in
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
But that's that like I mean I'm saying there no like I mean just being facetious no with him like I mean like that wouldn't bother me if he was gay or whatever and he just likes guns. I mean if he's into his gun right or whatever it is and he's perfectly right to be able to do that. There's no correlation.
Yeah.
Oh
There
yeah,
shouldn't
no,
need
but
to be
it's,
correlation.
what I'm getting at is kind of what she was saying too. I don't like people who are all one thing. You know,
Right,
they're
right.
predictable.
Yeah.
I like the mix. You know,
Right,
the
gotcha.
somebody who's I'm a gay conservative who loves guns, or I'm
A gay black conservative who loves guns. You know,
there's a ton of those.
There's
Yeah.
so many of those too. Yeah, there really is. I mean, there's like Mexicans who are like staunch, like, yeah, we like Trump, man. It's like, build that wall, motherfucker. Stop those. And you listen to these guys, and you understand. Oh, they're on Trump's side because they
Right.
know what shit is like south of the border. Guadalajara, for instance.
Yeah.
We don't want that in our fucking backyard. And it's not a case of, oh, there goes the neighborhood of that like 50s sensibility. It's quite literally, no, I don't want dead people being found
Right.
in
I don't
Chandler
want
or
to
Mesa
find
or.
Well, I was
bags
thinking-
of body parts.
I don't want cartels operating around here. And I know they do. I'm not blind to it. I know they're here.
What I remember is actually just to kind of parry off of that, but I was talking to my wife and the fact that NASA were after landing the thing on Mars.
Oh, yeah,
Providence.
And I was after
Chris-
saying with the Martian president Trump owns is going to build a galactic wall and he's going to have all the Earthlings pay for it. That's pretty much what he's going to do. So.
Very good. Now, speaking of Rish Limbaugh, no, Brittany, would you do me a favor and grab me the beer from the fridge? Oh my god! If you wouldn't mind, I'm sorry. It's just I'm doing.
You're
this.
dry at the moment.
I'm dry at the moment. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
No, because I need you here for. Okay.
Yeah, I can
no,
go
I
out.
kind of
Okay.
do. I need you.
I'm the woman.
Yeah, well, you are the woman. It's nothing to do with that. It's just that because you two have made good points about Rush Limbaugh, and I just want you here for the start of this. And Brittany can sit in on this. But speaking of when Johnny, you said you didn't believe everything he said. That's fine. You don't believe everything you're told. Believe in what's standing. So the thing, just to reiterate before Brittany gets back here, because I do want her to be a part of this. The big thing is on Twitter, I found this thing: reasons you should hate Rush Limbaugh.
There you go, darling.
Thank you, doll. I appreciate. Thank you, sweetheart. You
You
don't.
never made the sandwich.
She doesn't.
You're supposed to make the sandwich here now, too,
no.
right?
Oh,
No, I wasn't being a dear wife. I was being a bartender.
she was being a good girl, and thank you, honey. We didn't actually move on too far.
Speaking
No,
of
it's all right,
stereotypes,
I don't
anyway,
care.
continue.
So-
I don't know much about Rush Limbaugh other than
So-
my very
so
distasteful joke
I
about his
found-
weight loss. I'm like, oh, it's because he had cancer.
So the whole thing was somebody put this out on the internet. Reasons you should hate him on the day of his death. Again, Twitter,
That
cesspool,
is
whatever.
horrible.
So
No respect.
now I'm just going to read a few of these out, and I want all of you to kind of like chime in. I'll put the bell here.
Oh, okay.
When you have something you want to say,
what?
please hit that bell. I'll give you a second after.
This is gonna be a little bit difficult.
We're gonna play a game. So if you have something to say or disagree, now I see you. You're getting ready to hit that bell like a motherfucker, Seeky.
Ding, ding, ding,
But
ding, ding, ding.
but let's play this quick little game. And you know what? I'm actually going to turn the music down for this completely. So we're going to play a little game here. Rush
How's my
Limbaugh
mic?
said it. Do you really, really, in your heart of hearts, disagree with it? And I'm going to put a few controversial ones in here. And if you think about it, I'll give you a second to think. But
Wait, what's the bell for? So if we hear something.
if you want to make a point about it,
Or comment on it.
hit your bell. Okay.
Oh.
So the first one. There is a distinct singular American culture, rugged individualism and self-reliance, which made America great. Oh God! And off to the races we
I'm
go.
not gonna be able to-
Seeky.
Yes, I agree in premise with the idea, but it's what comes after. What's your definition of what that person looks like? Is the rugged individualism the guy that we were just talking about, who's a gay man walking around with an NRA hat on and he's doing his own thing, and that's what America is for
A
him?
rugged individualist is a rugged
Because-
individualist. You don't know what he looks like or
No,
what
hey,
form he
That's
comes
the
in.
problem, because
You
if
rang
you
the bell.
every time that he follows up after that, yeah, that's the kind of person that I
actually-
respect too.
Well, I'm
But
just going
then
to tell
it's
you,
what
my friend
he
of
says
freedom, like
afterwards.
I'm going to tell you, my freedom, my fellow freedom liker. If you just listen to me, what I'm saying here is that an individual
I get
is
what this is now.
an individual is somebody you don't know what he's going to look like until he faces you. You're not going to know what he wants to learn about until he teaches you. That is a rugged individualist, in my opinion.
So the problem is when you're on 4 hours every single day, you have to fill it with audio. So the follow-up of whatever he says is always the part where it gets in trouble. Because he's going to start cursing all these different people. And it's like, okay, well, I'm a regular individualist, but I'm not what you say is that way.
But
it's
if you were
it's kind of like
collectivist.
religion. I got no problem with people saying like, hey, Jesus is a great dude and maybe he's God. Like, okay, cool. So what do I have to do afterwards now? Can't
That's
drink.
fair. But, oh, we have a visitor. Johnny, you have the floor, sir.
So how long was he on radio?
As a
Close to 30.
big man, 80,
years.
88, 87 was where he first kind of really came to prominence. He
Yeah.
was kind of a failed DJ before that, but I want to say the late 80s is where he kind of rose to prominence.
So in terms of how long was he on the radio? Like his actual time on the radio?
As
40
4
years?
hours a day for 30 years.
30 odd years, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying
Maybe longer,
So if
35.
you're doing a talking thing and as you said filling in stuff, someone's going to say something silly or stupid or something that's over the top.
Oh, of
without
course.
overthinking it for 4 hours. If you're sitting there talking,
1,040 hours a year for 30 years.
God damn, look at
well,
that math.
so you're going to say something that's going to rub someone.
Of course
the wrong
you
way.
are. Of course you are.
Or
I
you're
mean,
going to say something off the cuff that you.
But that was kind of the point, too.
course, yeah.
you know,
That is a
to-
fair
to
point.
be that guy.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move on to the next one here. The vast majority of the rich in this country did not inherit the wealth. They, in fact, earned it. They are the country's achievers, producers, and job creators. Johnny?
bull.
Really? Would you care to explain why?
A lot of that would be like what you call old town money that they basically will bring in. I would think from your industrial revolution kind of time, and you've got a lot of the older kind of money. Most of the times now you'd have people who might come to prominence in terms of stocks and whatever it would be. But I would think the vast majority to me would be kind of old money.
Now, my question would be, what constitutes rich? Rich, I
Yes.
mean, middle class. Middle class in this country is somewhere around, for a median household income, around 300,000 a year.
No.
That's
That's
no,
so high.
no. Apparently, that's actually something I've read that before. The median middle class income, which is probably why there is no perceived middle class in this country. Now, I live on the poverty line, but technically, I mean, you'd never think so. By visiting my home, seeing my wife.
Seeing my wall.
Yes.
And her fine jewelry she wears.
The finery I keep her in. The finery I have to keep the Tony cat in.
And the beers that she brings me.
Yeah.
But I'm
think
by no means.
median
But the thing is, I'm by no means middle class. But if I was in any other country, I would live like a middle class person.
I wouldn't define that as middle class. And then, like working middle class is probably going up to the 200,000.
So,
No.
to me, this is kind of a vague and nebulous
Wait, so
argument.
this is in that article of like 8 reasons to hate him?
Yeah.
For something. So,
So-
now you're reading quotes. So it's based on just quotes.
No,
the lists are based
quotes
on quotes.
of what Rush Limbaugh has said in the past that should make you hate him. Now,
Oh,
this
interesting.
is not something to.
I mean,
Neither of these things
nothing
are something to
that
hate him on.
It's hateable.
This is for the wackos so far. Now, the next one, I think we can all agree with. No nation has ever taxed itself into prosperity.
Oh, actually, one question just before you went into that.
All right.
When was that quote?
I don't know.
Because
it's just from a Twitter.
300,000, but 300,000.
This is
in the
true.
80s
This is true.
compared to 300,000
That's
today.
true.
And that's
there's a whole
something
different
that today's progressives love to use. They love to use another standard from history when things were different and apply them today. You can't do that. You can only take the standard of today to apply to today. You can't take standards from history
You have
and apply
to
them to
adjust your numbers throughout history. You need to track
Well,
for
yeah.
inflation, all sorts of things. You can make comparisons, absolutely.
You can make comparisons, but I mean, you can't. The same standards, social norm, cultural standards. I don't think you can do that.
From an
Now-
income standpoint and your productivity, yeah.
Yeah, but then
can
you have to
certainly
take-
track that.
Then you have to take back into what was count back then. I mean, like a packet of like a bottle of Coke back then. 2 cents for a Coke.
Right.
You know, I was like, 2 cents too expensive. I'm going over there. Well, it's 1 cent. You know, it's like it's.
But your standard
It's
of
all
living,
relative.
but that's your standard of living is totally different. Like $100 back then would be like a small fortune compared to like that could be like 6 months worth of wages, that kind of stuff, you know. So
Okay, so nobody really disagreed with no nation has ever taxed itself into prosperity.
Seems oblique to me.
It's bleak, but I think it's very true. I don't think taxing the working people is the people who make up your nation taking money from them to put into useless programs, be it social, military, whatever.
Well, going back the other way now, it's like if you see yourself as prosperous, how come you have such a high national debt?
It's true. This is true, but again, that is down to the neocons and neoliberals both, and I'll put both of them at blame for this. I will put both of them at blame for this. There's no left or right divide when it comes to government. There's only government, and you should just direct your ire at it because it's a monolith. It's really a monolith. Democrats are Democrats, Republicans are Republicans, and behind your back they're shaking hands and making deals. Now there are a few that the Democrats did today. There are a few that the Democrats truly hate and really go out for because they're not Republicans. They're actually just part of Republican, like so Josh Hawley, Gates. Cruz, Ted Cruz, even to a point. These guys do not represent the Democratic Party that represent the Republican Party that the Democratic Party want to work with, whereas people like Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham do. These guys are like, well, we can make concessions. We're spineless. Whereas these guys, whereas the other guys I mentioned earlier are fucking quite literally. No, we're not going to make concessions for stupid shit.
Well, see, that's the problem. You see,
which I like.
When you go back now to the politics where you do party lines, whereby you vote Democrat or do Republican based on just being in the party rather than taking the actual individual bill, individual thing, speaking as an individual rather than being a collective in terms of the party.
Do you think the AOC is the opposite side of that then?
AOC is just an idiot.
Well,
she's
come on.
just a moron.
I asked a direct question. So
a part of the
she's kind of the opposite side, you know. If it's Schumer and McConnell versus Hawley and AOC.
AOC is one of these people who came in, has no real power, but is expected to act like she has power, and she probably believes it herself. She probably believes that, in my opinion. AOC is, for lack of a better word, a paid actor. Now not a paid actor, but she has
what I'm trying to get
power.
at is like what is the Democratic version of a Cruz, a Hawley, a Green? Like you're talking
the
about.
Democrat version of that is AOC. AOC to Schumer. Bernie is scary to the likes of Schumer and Pelosi.
Yeah,
because Bernie is actually a radical.
Yeah,
he's very
exactly
radical in his thought. I am exactly who I am. I want to tax everybody in this country. I want to do it. I'm going to tax all of you, but I'm just going to pretend and I'm going to shake hands and get the youth of this country on my side. That's what I'm going to do. And that's how it's going to work. And it's like, well...
This one's better than your Rush.
Thank you. But
isn't it funny knowing that picture of him sitting there with the gloves and everything?
It's amazing. It reminds me of my grandfather so much. It kind of endears Bernie to me a little bit.
What I'm saying, it actually united the country more than anything.
And I'll say that. I don't like Bernie Sanders. I don't like Bernie Sanders in his sense of.
They had a meme. They had a meme of supposed to be the NASA thing landing on Mars, and he's looking out the window, and there's Bernie sitting there like in the same.
I don't like Bernie Sanders. I don't respect anything he believes in. But you know what? I respect the man for so wholeheartedly actually chasing after it like a dog with a bone. Even though his ideas, in my opinion, are bad. They're just bad. And we're not going to get into that now because I just I want to get into the next one here very, very quickly. So again, fingers at the ready, ladies and, well, gentlemen and ladies. Lady. I can't get this right.
You don't have to be perfect.
You're not perfect.
Just close.
Okay.
Love is the only human emotion that cannot be controlled.
What?
Nobody. Okay, this is a reason to hate him, by the way. This is something he said. Love is the only human emotion that cannot be controlled. I think it is actually.
I hate pulling
so
quotes out
he's
of
in
context.
support of gay marriage.
That's fair. But you know what? So
out of context.
I am in support of gay marriage if the church allow it, because marriage is a religious thing, whereas civil unions
I see.
are
you don't think government should be involved?
I don't think the government should be.
I agree.
Yeah, government should have no place in marriage. If a church wants to marry two gay people, go for it.
That to me sounds like something you'll get in one of those like Chinese.
Oh yeah, it does sound like a fortune cookie.
Come and eat our fortune cookies at the Lucky Tiger tonight.
It's so open in terms of a thing. Like, I mean, obviously, normally it's like you can have unrequited love as well too, or like the other person is.
But unrequited would be uncontrolled, right?
But it's still out of your control.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
other person to love
But
you
I mean,
or not.
it's not what Rush is saying. It's the fact that people think you should hate him for saying this.
Yeah, that's the whole thing I'm like getting really confused about. I was like, I don't see how these out of context quotes are like upsetting.
But there's probably
This
some,
is a
Exactly.
BuzzFeed
People-
writer
But there's-
being paid $5.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yes.
it.
But
It's
there's
like
probably some Chinese restaurants
there's no
that can't use
substance
that
in
anymore
this.
in the fortune cookie.
Yep.
And he's the one who's after sending in to me.
That's
That
fair.
was my favourite
So
one.
you
I can't
wouldn't.
use it anymore.
My point is, you wouldn't be angry at this quote out of
I wouldn't,
context.
no.
Yeah, out of
No.
context, no. But fun fact, those statues of Buddha that you see are actually
Me.
modeled off of Rush Limbaugh.
Not really.
So it's his wisdom coming out there.
Hang on,
Yeah.
wait. You fucking home run chip.
Before the
you gotta
cancer.
fucking-
Before the
yeah,
cancer.
before the cancer, before that
You gotta. You gotta
that
He ain't
after
heavy, he's
cancer,
my Buddha, is
post-cancer
it?
bod.
All right, so here we go. Let's see what a good one here. Abraham Lincoln saved this nation.
There's no reason for me to sit on the floor. I'm not gonna ring that bell.
That's all.
That was Washington.
That was
Washington was an unwilling man to take a presidency.
But he
was
the
so
one-
unwilling.
but
In
he's
fact,
the
he
one
only
to
took
make
4
a nation.
years.
But he's the one to take them. Actually, they wanted to make him king, and he said, "Why well, want to be like what I'm just after defeating?"
Under the Constitution, they wouldn't want to make him a king. They made him president, and
But
he
they
decided
offered
not
him-
to be.
They offered him to be king.
Probably more backhand deals. You could be, but
I'm surprised that he's defending the Union. Rush is defending the Union.
fair.
Well, I suppose like the deflation in the Confederate note must be astronomical. Like so, I don't know.
I'm making a Confederate.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'm
I
only
got
go-
it. I got it.
I'm only going to do one more for time constraints because we do have
Well, pick the best one.
we do have one final story for after this.
No,
and
pick a quote that you think
Yeah,
actually
what-
is somewhat
what would I be
controversial.
offended by?
I mean,
Yeah, pick the most controversial quote you think is there.
all right.
There
all
will
those are done.
always, let me repeat myself here, there will always be poor people.
There will always be poor people.
Yes, he's right. Do I need a ding?
Yeah.
You even get a you.
He's,
You know what? You
he's
even
right
get an applause
from a
break for that.
mathematic perspective.
Yes.
Yes, there will
There are
always be
people who want to be
comparatively
poor.
people.
There were people who want to be poor
Hell,
because
I want to be poor.
poor people
More
love
money, more
victimhood.
problems.
Well,
Poor people love
To a
being
limit.
victims, and they love soaking off the stage, and they do.
some maybe.
No, in my experience, and I've been on welfare before, it's very easy to sit around and
See,
get a
that's the
shitty
funny
check.
thing. I've never been on welfare. So.
I've been on welfare, and you know what? It's very easy to sit around, do nothing, get a check, and get paid for doing nothing. That incentivizes fucking poverty.
Yeah, if you don't
it
feel
incentivizes
like it's
it.
demeaning, you might just be like welfare.
That's
queen
why
or
I
king.
am. I mean, everything is a grey area. The welfare state, I think, is quite literally something like, okay,
Except this podcast.
Here's a big bank.
Yeah.
Here's a
Yeah.
big bank. Let's pour taxpayer money into it at a very, very low rate. Shut up, you. At a very, very small rate. And anybody who needs this money, genuinely needs this money, the elderly, the infirm, the sick, the out of job for transitioning job team, whatever. That's where that welfare should be. You shouldn't have a career for sitting on the couch. No careers for sitting on the couch. Fuck you. No.
No,
Well,
I
see,
mean,
It
What
doesn't.
about all
you
those
see, it does
not work.
Twitch streamers and YouTubers?
But
They make their own money.
but
They
you see,
make their
that's-
own money.
But
They
they
have.
get this. they
yeah,
can literally sit on the
podcasters
couch.
aren't sitting
Yes,
on their ass
but
right now
I'm not
drinking
soaking
beer.
out your money for doing it. I'm making my own money for doing
True,
it.
yeah.
But
You're
there should
drinking
be-
my beer.
If
You're
they're-
in my home. Pay tribute, you scumbag.
if you're in a position where you're like, there's no like what you call reason for you not to be working under the fact there's no work
Yeah.
available or whatever.
Yes.
Like the way you do it in Ireland, do the FOSS courses, they put you on whatever.
Which is where I learned radio,
you're doing-
FOSS.
You're doing something productive rather than, as he was saying, just sitting there and vegging in the couch.
Is that how you learned? It was a welfare kind of thing,
It wasn't a welfare thing. They
like a work for.
work. Yeah. So I went in. I learned radio, and I was paid to do it.
Okay.
I was actively, and if I missed a day, you didn't get paid.
Okay.
And I missed a couple of days, and then I'd be looking at it at the end of the week when my
What's
paycheck
the
goes into my
system?
bank account, and I'd be like, "Well, I didn't make as much as I did last week." And I was like, "You missed a day."
Yeah,
I was like-
that's
and I was like,
Economics 101.
"That's actually fair." Exactly, it's economics 101. It's
You know,
very true.
that's a form of welfare I can get. I mean, there's obviously folks out there who are fully disabled, but that's the kind of thing that I can get on board with.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Civilian
if you're-
Conservation
yeah.
Corps, Work. What was the FDR? Everyone built the highways and shit.
The New Deal, what was it?
Galactic Wall,
Galactic Wall. Okay, we are going to move on to a final topic that I have here, and I think we're going to call it quits after that. I think I was talking to you about that a little bit before, but just for Johnny, because we're going to be going out here very, very soon. The final thing we're going to talk about is something Brittany and I talk about, but this is for Johnny.
Oh no.
He knows the closing music. Oh boy, does he know the closing music. Anyway, so, final story I have. An MSC cruise line unveils a humanoid robot bartender for the ship. To serve you drinks while you sail, Robbie the Robot, ladies and gentlemen. Rodney the Robot.
Rodney the Robot?
Oh, got no respect when I'm pouring these drinks over here. Oh,
Rodney.
let me tell you, I served this drink to a girl in first class. She had no class. Oh,
Now you're slipping in the dice there a little
slipping
bit.
in the dice.
she had no class. She had no class, like. I served her a drink. She wouldn't suck my dick. Oh!
I didn't tell you to slip further,
But
for God's sake.
so the big thing about this story was really making me think about it is what happens if the ship sinks?
Changes his
I've
name
already
to
had
Bob.
this conversation with
I
you,
know.
so I don't feel
This
like...
is for the boys. What happens? What's the robot's mandate if the ship sinks?
Go down with the ship.
Does it? Do you not think it's going to go?
circuits will fry.
Do you think in a just maybe, in a mad dash for self-preservation, it just like grows wheels, like sprouts wheels, and like through the ship, beating people out of the way, like sinking, and then just gets to a lifeboat where a family of 6 who are on a Disney cruise or whatever are just like getting into the boat. We'll be fine, dear, and then sinking, knocks them out of the boat, sinking, takes the boat and speeds off into the distance. Just in a mad dash for self-preservation, like a really panicky piece of a robot. Just does something with it's either going to be that, or there's going to be one really rowdy party on that cruise where that thing is going overboard.
So like C-3PO turns into Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of an idea. We should put out the guns and the whole like...
I've got to
The Rambo thing.
get to the lifeboat. Get to the lifeboat.
We're really gonna miss out on the Sam and Diane relationship with these robot bartenders. We're gonna have to have a couple, And
I can just see him like
Norm.
running. I can just see him running for the lifeboats as like robots and toasters first.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I see him...
He's collecting every electrical unit on the ship. My
Yeah.
friends, the air conditioner, you must come with me.
The egg was
Brave little toaster.
Yeah. My lover.
So those cocktails are still they'll probably be more expensive than a normal cocktail because it's already $17 a cocktail on a cruise, but because it's a robot, it'll be 20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cost of
it could be.
pennies.
It's just going to increase the overall cost of your cruise. It's so
The machines really are taking over. If they start making drinks for you.
We would like to introduce to you.
Slip it. What prevents them from slipping something into your drink?
Ooh.
Wait, you think the robot's
Wow.
like, my God, I am going to fuck that lady later tonight on the credenza deck?
No, he's passing off to his
This is
vibrator
Roofie
friend later.
249.
Roofie. The robot's named Roofie. That's a great fucking name.
I will ensure that this day will go the way you want it.
Do not worry, I do not have a penis to assault you with. I only have these.
Just this drill.
I am going to drill you literally.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love the thought of a robot on a ship. Hey, what are you doing? Put me down, you big Billy.
Yeah. I think we should patent that, the Roofie 2000. That's awesome.
That's
Oh
a
my
great name. The Roofie. Thank you, Johnny. And thank you, dear listener. How's that for a segue? Isn't that good? You have to admit, Seeky, you've seen some broadcasters in your time. You've never seen one like me. You ain't never had a broadcaster like
and he
me.
hopes he never sees one like that again.
That just made me think. What was it? The comedian He was in a Spaced. What's his name?
In Spaced? What are you
Spaced.
talking about?
He looks like a stoner all the time.
Comedian?
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Justin Long?
I don't know
No.
I don't know the movie. you refer-
Chong?
No, Cheech and Chong.
He was in what?
He was in Spaced, I believe. I forget his
I
name.
don't.
What
he
is
was
Spaced?
in Space.
Oh, wait, is that
or
a
is there
stoner
a film
movie?
called Spaced?
It's a stoner movie?
It's a stoner
Zach
movie.
Galifianakis?
Wow, did you
Galifianakis?
butcher his name?
I don't know. Yeah, it's too many consonants.
Yeah.
I'm
Galifianakis.
going to look up his name here.
Is it really that important?
Yeah, it is because
I've never even heard of this movie.
Yeah, I
No.
keep on thinking of like he was sent to space, like he's been in space,
I
like
mean, since
No,
he's in
no,
the International Space Station right now.
you people are hurting me.
And it's taken so long, we've gone into the third
Yeah.
time for the actual soundtrack for the He-Man, right? This is awesome.
You've been counting how many times it's looped. Oh wow.
Jim Brewer.
Still don't know who that
comedian.
is. So was it
Yeah.
worth it? Was it really worth
So
it?
there.
I do
we're there.
want to. I just do want to show end the show.
Shout out to Jim Brewer.
Yeah,
It took us 3 minutes to remember what your work was.
The inventor of the Roofie
And
2000.
nobody's
Yes.
heard of you.
No, Jim Brewer is a very well-known comedian, but I just wanted to end the
I
show
don't know
because
who
of
he
that
is.
laugh I did. Jim Brewer once said, "There's nothing funnier to a stoner than a goat." Why is that? Well, because you're sitting there and you.
Thank you. That was so worth it.
Nothing.
Thank you. But I was gonna say something. I was at least gonna say there's something very weird about the laugh that you did do, but I don't think it needed that much backstory.
Okay,
Because now it's
now I'm dejected. Where's my roofie robot? Okay, so
that's
thank
that's
you.
an authentic laugher to you when he has to go
Thank you.
into explain why what his laugh was and what it reminded me of, reminded him of, and
Thank you, gentle listener, for listening to the West of Waterford Podcast. I would like to thank very much for Seeky, Brittany, and Johnny for coming over.
problem.
This obviously won't be the Men of Munster podcast I promised you all, but should be a good idea, a good indication of where we're going to go. And yeah, see you in the next episode. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
He-Man.
Hey, man.